The biggest dam in Africa is in the final stages of construction. It'll provide electricity for close to 78 million people, irrigate barren land, and regulate flooding, lifting millions more out of poverty. So why then is the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam at the center of an international dispute? I'm Darine Abougaida. This is Pinch Point, where politics and geography collide. We need to take a look at the River Nile, and that's because the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam has been built across the river's main tributary, the Blue Nile. Here it is, just 13 kilometers from Ethiopia's border with Sudan. The Blue Nile meets the White Nile in Sudan's capital Khartoum, forming the River Nile, which then flows north through Egypt and out into the Mediterranean Sea. That's 6,650 kilometers of river, the longest in the world, with all the countries the Nile and its tributaries cross staking a claim to those life-giving waters. The Nile's importance over thousands of years of human history is difficult to overstate. Quite simply, without it, there would have been no ancient Egyptian civilization, no pharaohs, no pyramids, no Cleopatra, just desert. For thousands of years, there was only one undisputed ruler of the Nile, Egypt. But in the last century, all that began to change. Colonial powers extended their reach, then nation-states emerged, each with a responsibility to feed and support their growing populations. Egypt, Ethiopia, and Sudan know they have to share the water. Deals have been drawn up since the 1920s, but the details have always caused friction, and never more so than since 2011, when construction began on the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Let's call it GERD. Everyone else does. Its scale and impact have been huge. In 2020, the Blue Nile flowed much as it had done for millennia, but then the Ethiopians began building. And in 2020, they started filling it. By the time it was full at the end of 2023, the reservoir covered an area bigger than London. And all the while, Egypt and Sudan's frustrations grew. They're worried about the impact the dam will have downstream in times of drought. They want a legal agreement with the Ethiopians. Ethiopia has so far said no, that it won't affect the water flow.
Sudan supports the GERD, Sudan supports the dam, based on the condition of reaching an agreement.
I'm warning our brothers in Ethiopia to not touch a drop of Egypt's water because all options are open.
GERD has been a national dream since the 1960s, when the Emperor Haile Selassie was on the throne. And for Ethiopia, the project will literally power its economic development. It'll generate more than 6,000 megawatts. Ethiopia sees GERD as the centerpiece of its ambition to become Africa's biggest electricity exporter.
Ethiopia does not intend to arm other countries. Our intention is to work with other countries and improve our status.
But Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's words are of little comfort to the countries downstream. They worry about the climate crisis and any future drought. What impact will this mega dam have on them then? Will Ethiopia open the taps? And what will be the response if they don't?